Hey everybody, welcome to episode 82 of the Seller Club podcast. Let's just go ahead and drop that beat. Hey guys.
Kenny.
Hey.
Kenny.
Welcome back to the clubhouse.
Yes, we're back. I know,
I don't know.
when this podcast comes out though, this episode is gonna be what? Mid-June? I know
Yep.
we're a little early, but this month has been a little slower.
Oh,
I know.
I wonder why.
I wonder
Definitely
why.
can't
Is
be
this
because
summer?
it's summer. Can't be because of
Oh
that.
my gosh, I knew this conversation
It's
was
gonna
gonna
come back
up.
to bite you.
I knew this day would come.
Why? Right? Why?
We're supposed to be having a summer surge, you guys. What are you talking
Oh.
about?
Oh my gosh. Oh, you know
Anna's
what?
having a surge.
Oh, Anna's having a surge. Okay,
Well,
I like that.
I will say I was as of last time we talked, but I
It
will
was.
say the
Now it's
first
summer.
week of June, I can at least speak to the first week of June was notably slower than the last week of May. So
Hmm.
will that trend persist beyond the first week? I don't know.
I'm sad to announce I'm down 4.5% in the last
Ouchie.
31 days. 4.5.
You know what I did though? I've had my store, which this is low for me. I used to have a much higher ad rate for like a blanket across my store. I've had it
Okay.
at 5% for like I think this whole year. And I kicked it up to 6%. So we'll see if that
So
makes a
you're
notable
being
difference
a
in the
little
next like, month.
generous, you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
percent more.
the margin is good. I'm also doing less percent off sale amount than I normally do. So like my margin's still great. So I'm like, let's just see what 1% bump will actually do.
Yeah, I think it's summer because I'm selling a $120 triple white Brooks
Mm.
and user account. I'm just joking. User account offered me 35
35.
for
Yeah.
120.
So it's lowball summer, apparently.
Yeah. And you know what I would have done if
Super
this
lame.
was Posh? You know what I would have done if this was Posh?
Laugh.
No, I would accept it.
Oh.
And I'll make them feel like they're getting it
And then
until the
cancel
last
it?
minute and cancel it.
No,
Wow.
Kenny. Now we're just getting petty.
So
Only
Oh,
on
y'all.
Posh now. Only on Posh.
Only on
well,
Posh,
well,
okay.
speaking of Posh, they're in the hot seat right now.
they sure are still.
Still, a lot of sellers are really getting mad at them. People getting suspended, right? So this is, I guess, the overarching scenario. They're telling Poshmark sellers to not bulk deal list,
Right.
right?
Oh,
Even
okay.
things that are no longer available
For
because
sale,
they've
right.
sold on another platform.
So let's
for
say,
example.
like Glenn, like you're a cross lister, right? And then you sold obviously you sell a lot more on eBay. So
Mhm.
if you're doing let's say a weekly takedown of listings, and obviously you're gonna take down 50 sales or 100 sales at a time, and Posh would suspend you, bro.
What?
Yeah.
So
I get-
they literally want you to just be focused
not-
on them.
Only
don't
Posh,
cross
don't
list,
cross
don't-
list. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's that is incentivizing all kinds of backfiring nonsense.
Yeah, now
because
it's now it's bad,
not
right?
Gonna be good for their buyers.
So what I'm doing is I'm not taking your listings down, and then when they sell on Posh, I just cancel if I don't have it.
Exactly.
You're like, what can
Right.
I do? I can't take
I
them
was
off.
like this close to cross listing to there again,
And
then
the
all this
crazy
happened,
part,
and,
and the
I'm so glad I
crazy
didn't
part
bother.
is, multiple people I've seen and I've heard, they contact Posh, they email Posh, right, about the
Mhm.
suspension, and then Posh responds with "Oh, I'm sorry, that was an error on our that wasn't supposed to be."
Like maybe
you
this
know,
whole policy is an error.
Like literally telling them like, "Oh, we sent you that email on accident,
AI
and
did
you're
it.
reinstated." Yeah, that they probably using AI or something like that, like a
Yeah,
really cheap
something.
model AI or something.
Yeah, like they're taking off all these listings. Just get rid of them now.
yeah.
Get rid of this seller.
Yeah. So
That-
AI is taking you down.
That is a mess.
So there's that. That's why.
So
that's why I
made is that your game plan though? Like you're just gonna list or leave all of them on there?
Yeah. Because I'm still like I think overall like I've sold like close to 3,000 on Posh since we started cross listing.
Okay.
So it's still a pretty good snack.
Yeah. Snack.
For snacks for the summer or groceries.
Speaking of petty, I definitely woke up petty the other day because the first thing I saw when I looked at my phone after I woke up that day was somebody on eBay, another eBay user, commenting on this like is like a lapel pin, right? And the color of the metal is like pewter colored, right? So in the title it says pewter tone. And this person was going off on me about how there's no way this thing is made of pewter, blah, blah, blah. And also, by the way, man, your price is high. And this is a sub $20 item for sure.
I can't remember exactly how much it was. Seller? Because these prices are high. Did tariffs kick in for this seller?
I have
these
no
prices
idea.
Are high.
But they had sent me this message at like 1 a.m. And I was just like, oh my. Okay. So I was like being funny on Instagram and like typed out like a snarky response and put it in my story. Like, don't you sometimes just want to like say this back to someone who's just reaching out to criticize you and with absolutely no intention of even buying your item? Like, why are we even looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and of course I didn't send that message. I sent a much more diplomatic message. And then they proceeded to message me back again with like a huge paragraph telling me how I should do my listings on eBay better and wishing me luck in like selling things on eBay and hoping that I would be successful in the future. And but it was like really like condescending,
lengthy,
like the entire thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was a huge paragraph. And so I did respond to that one and I said, well, once again, no thank you for this completely unsolicited advice, blocked. And I blocked them because I'm like, literally, why are you in my inbox right now? What are you doing? You clearly are not actually trying to help me. You're just like, I don't know, exercising some kind of rage that you have towards someone else at me. So I was like, I don't need that in my life. But I just thought it was funny. And I wonder if people ever, because here's the thing. Like, even the thing they were complaining about besides the price, like my title said, it was pewter tone. I'm like, do I need to explain to you what the word tone means? Like, that's why it says tone, because it's a color. Anyway, I get that a lot, though, with gold and silver. Like, you have to be careful with jewelry to not state that, like, not it's imply that it's real. Made of that unless it is, right?
Got it.
But that's why I use words like color or tone or anyway. It's just, like, super obnoxious, but very petty, very petty. And I just, like, would encourage anybody who's ever been inclined to do that type of thing to another seller, just don't do it. It's pointless.
No, do it.
Do it to Ken.
Yeah.
Do it to
I don't
Ken.
need that in my life. I don't need that in my store.
I'm like, I don't want to see this. Goodbye.
Wait, you said this from another seller or from a buyer?
Yes.
Yeah. Another seller?
Well, it was just like,
how does someone have that time?
Because then they were telling me about how, trying to school me basically on. And I was like, have you even looked at my store? Like, I didn't go into that or anything. I didn't say anything, but I'm just like, if you're going to like be that condescending, at least know who you're talking to. Like, how many thousands of items have I sold on eBay over the last 8 years? Like, you think I'm not successful? Are you kidding me?
You're like, just go ahead.
Anna said, Google me.
Yeah.
Anna said, Google.
I thought you were just going to send a link to your book. Just go ahead.
Yeah, or a link to my book or my multiple filmed eBay presentations about.
Oh, man, that'd be cool to do a presentation.
Wait, can we do that?
Would be cool.
Wait, can we do that?
You can't send links.
We can't?
Well, you can send a URL, but it won't be clickable.
Oh, yeah. I that's.
I'm not sending them off platform for anything.
Put it this way. I would do that. I would do that, but I wouldn't put my face. I would use Anna's presentation.
Oh yeah, just link to my presentation. You just send people to my book. That's fine too.
I actually get like I'm petty like that I would go to that route, but also like I know that they're like crazy people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
that's why I blocked them because I'm like
no. That's why
I don't need that.
When I changed my store name to the Hustle Bee, I think I'm trying to backpedal sometimes when I'm trying to be mean. Well, I guess that's preventing me from trying to be mean and petty.
Yeah.
That's why Glenn's name is nobody knows. Nobody
So
knows
hard
his.
to
Nobody
find.
knows.
He's like sports extreme wear or something like
Something.
that. Yeah,
I knew people. I
wear,
knew
wear.
there's crazy people out there when I created the channel. That's
Yeah.
when I first knew
Oh.
that there's crazy people.
Yeah, that
You
was bad.
know.
That's yeah. We I've gotten emails, and that was, and I think that was just Glenn's hater, and it's like, no, Glenn's too nice to hate on, and they just jumped to me and
They just jumped to me.
and just and they would come in on our live shows. Remember those on like
Oh, yeah,
Wednesday
yeah.
nights, and they would just like, I'm like, man, negativity. Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like if you're having a slow summer, don't take it out on other people.
Yeah. Because that could that it is like the kind of like the perfect ingredients, of
Yeah.
like hot. Dude, we have like crazy cicadas here. Do you know what they are?
It's like round 2 of the cicadas.
Glenn, do you know what they are?
The cicadas uprising.
Oh, he doesn't know.
I
He's
don't
not
know. I don't know.
What?
You have to Google that.
Yeah.
If
that's a
if
whole
you're not
I don't
mid-
even know how to spell that.
I didn't even know.
C-I-C-A.
Okay, Google it, Glenn. Google it, Glenn.
Oh,
And
here we go.
spell
It's like
it.
one of the first ones
Cicada.
coming up. So
Bro.
their lifespan is 2 to 17 years.
Yeah.
Oh my
They are
gosh.
true bugs.
Yeah.
What
True
does that mean?
bugs.
Rather than a
Bro,
false
they're
Yeah,
like
flag.
they're not fake.
They're like
true.
alien.
Oh, man.
They're like alien, Glenn. And they're like a size of your thumb. Like they're like
And
What
they're
the
crunchy.
heck?
and they're like chunky. You
So
know?
it says here, click this link to see when they are in Ohio and when they go away.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
Let us know if you're
They-
listening
they-
to this and you also
crazy part is-
don't know what a cicada is.
Yeah,
That's-
apparently they
that
bu-
never occurred to me.
Anna, they burrow, right? They burrow
Mhm, in
under
the ground.
The ground.
And then
And-
like cohorts of them come up out of the ground
Yeah.
like every few years, and when they
Yeah.
overlap, then there's like tons and tons of them.
And then they just die.
Yeah.
And then there's like time of the month, Glenn, that they all die. So there's like like crunchy dead bugs. Like you think it's like mulch, but it's like
that is
cicadas.
disgusting.
Yeah, here it says that they leave behind a huge mess.
Yeah.
To be nice.
So when I was like cleaning our yard, bro, these things, oh,
Everywhere.
they landed in my neck.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
a terrible.
And-
feeling.
No.
Even if you shake, they're latch. Like they have
Oh,
claws. They have
man.
little
What?
claws that attach. And then you actually literally have to like smack it before they would leave.
And they buzz very loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can they hurt you?
No.
No, they can
Not
hurt you, but
really.
it's just like eek,
They look nasty though. They
oh,
have, like,
they're
a mean,
and they're
ugly
loud.
face.
Like that's all we hear all day, Glenn. Like you know how like crickets at night
yeah.
times
Yeah.
1,000 all
and
day.
more like
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're like suicide squad on the highway because they just smack your windshield
What
Like,
the heck?
every
Remind
day.
me to stay out of Ohio right now.
No,
Ew.
for real. In Ohio, every day when I go to the gym, 15-minute drive, at least 10 bugs smack my windshield
Oh.
and splatter.
Illinois.
Like it's crazy because like JC would duck because you could see it. Like it's like a golf
Gross.
ball, like black golf ball heading straight to you, and it would just splatter on your windshield.
That's crazy.
So yeah, if
Yeah.
you feel down, they're actually insects and bugs that's their purpose. So don't
Illinois
feel too bad.
apparently had really bad cicada situation like recently.
Before
but
you move,
No, it was within the last year.
where were you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't really see them here. Like, they
Oh.
were generally in this region, but not like in my
Okay,
town,
not down
apparently.
there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but they were like all around. So I think we just lucked out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know if Ohio
We didn't
has
have
it,
a
though.
giant uprising.
I don't think Ohio. Maybe Ohio has it the worst because there's videos like within our
Oh, yeah.
community, Glenn, that a whole like tree is wrapped with cicadas.
So gross.
It's terrible. So
I will
Yeah.
say, as a farm kid, I used to collect their little exoskeletons. They molt and like leave their
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exoskeletons around. I would just collect them and like hang them on my clothes. Like,
yeah,
Here's
they're
a
like
little
they're like
necklace of
crabs,
cicada
right? They
skeletons.
come
Yeah.
out of their self.
yeah, they molt.
But I kept telling JC though, man, the birds, they're eating good.
yeah. Whoever Whoever eats those is having
the
a
birds
very
are thriving
good time.
right now.
they're thriving.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I can't even use our backpack, Anna, because there's just hundreds of them there. Bad.
Stay inside.
Exactly. That's why we're
Gross.
just recording podcasts, or else I'd be outside.
So maybe we should go ahead and talk about a topic.
Oh yeah, we
like-
had a topic today.
We have.
We've been catching up a lot on a lot of things,
Yeah,
and this
but we
is
did
kind
talk
of,
about sales, so
we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a garden variety kind of episode anyway, but
Yeah.
you know, I think there's kind of a larger topic at hand. We want to drill down into something specific, but the larger topic is kind of like predictability in your business, and like how do you try to we all, you know, try to find that, whether it's about sourcing or about selling or about, you know, our process. There's like all kinds of ways that we like try to have predictability, because then you can like plan, you can estimate, you can project, you can grow, right? You kind of need at
like
least a ballpark.
diversify, right? We hear the word diversify
You
your
do.
products.
Right. But like, how do you know what's a good thing to try, or how do you know what to source more of, or whatever? So like one thing we were kind of talking about is sell-through rate, and I think we should talk about kind of both sides of the coin, like sell-through rate as it pertains to sourcing, and sell-through rate as it pertains to evaluating the performance of your own stuff. Yeah, that you already listed. So
go ahead, Anna. So
yeah,
you want me to define sell-through rate real quick?
I just kind of, well, before that, I kind of want to get your take, both of your takes on just like this idea of predictability. Like, because I mean, Captain Consistency over here, predictability,
yeah,
consistency
he likes
go hand
that.
in hand,
He likes
right?
that.
And we all like some kind of certainty. But
the certainty I like is not knowing.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
What? Anna, I mean,
if that were true, you would not be not buying Adidas.
I still bought them. They're still trash.
Reluctantly. But like, what do you expect a lot of predictability, I mean, in your business, or do you feel like there's kind of like this is as good as it gets because things are always changing? Like, how do you?
I'm gonna answer mine. I'm gonna answer it.
Okay.
I have come to accept that Q4 is party time, and Q5, quote unquote, also Q1. Q4 and Q1 has always surprised me. I guess that's the word, because it's just so much more compared to the other quarters. And in that, in turn, kind of like preps me, or actually lets me know that, okay, energy wise, you're gonna be really like tired already. You need to recover energy wise and inventory wise in Q2 and Q3. And it just so happened that Q2 and Q3 is based on like just the last 8 years of selling. It's always been the slowest. So we've kind of like talked about like what are the ways that we can prop it up, but also too, we cannot discount the big factor that people are going on vacation. That's a high spend activity, and I am on a high spend category.
So it's more of a direct competition.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, dollars. Like, are you buying a sneaker, or are you buying a plane ticket?
Well, interesting side note here. I don't know if you saw this, but eBay has recently announced partnering with Klarna.
Yes.
That's like paying for or financing options. And part of the whole impetus of that is to like basically make bigger purchases more accessible to people.
Now. Yeah.
But I'm really wondering, like, I think that's kind of been rolling out slowly. I don't know if I've even seen anything about it.
I've seen
it. Sales with that?
I don't know.
Or do you
wouldn't know?
You wouldn't know. Okay.
Well, you wouldn't know, but I've seen listings. Right now, I think it was the code was Klarna, or Klarna Us, or Klarna on Us. There's like a code, because I was looking at a $600 car part, and they gave me it would give me $50 off if I use Klarna.
Oh, interesting.
So they're definitely pushing something there.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, $50 is significant, but I've seen it on other items that's kind of like clothing. It's only giving me like $5.
I'm not
So it's
sure
not
if this is in the US yet or not, or if this, but I know it's happened at least to some extent in some eBay markets where if you buy something with Klarna and you want to resell it, it will automatically create the listing for you.
Oh,
isn't that interesting?
Mm.
It's supposed to
I
like
don't thi-
promote circular
yeah.
economy and stuff, but yeah, I wonder that though. Like, does that make you guys consider differently, like the amount of like high end inventory you're willing to have in your store? Because do you think people will buy it more if it's
Yeah,
they
I
can
would
now
agree.
use
So on
Klarna?
my end, we've definitely intentionally lowered the
Yeah,
ASP because of where the
for like
economy is at.
accessibility. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like to kind of like weather out the summer slowdown. But I'm gonna give the
The what?
time
Yeah,
the
Kenny,
some
come on.
the myth and the
myth!
lie, the lie that
You
people have
said it.
said on YouTube's, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
YouTube's. It's on YouTube's.
All the drifters just
So yeah, I'm gonna hand it
complaining about it.
to the real YouTuber here and see what he says about his predictability, because
Yeah, what do you
he's
think?
Mr. Captain Consistency.
And then let's totally like zero in on sell through because
Yeah,
that's a really
yeah.
interesting one.
Well, I mean, I've been doing the same consistent type of items over and over again. I think the only thing that I got kind of caught was with like Mother's Day coming around, that I did see like lower numbers like before and after.
Mother's Day?
Yeah, because my stuff has like nothing to do with
Women.
Mother's Day. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
were spending money on gifts, and like it just wasn't really anything going on that
That's
weekend in my
interesting.
store.
That is interesting. I might have
Yeah.
sold a lot of women's running shoes.
And you probably did, because I
Oh.
think that a lot
I
of
didn't
that.
notice any difference, but that's
No?
because my inventory is all over the place.
Mm.
It's hard to see patterns like that when it's like diversified.
Miscellaneous.
Yeah,
That's right. My
That's
favorite
right.
word.
Oh yeah, that had to be Glenn, huh? Because you're all like men's jersey and like, no, unless the mom is really into the sport. That's
Yeah, I mean, that
You
could
need
happen
more
too.
like bedazzled jerseys.
Yeah,
in here.
they'd
True.
rather get a spa instead of a jersey.
Yeah,
I'd still would say
100%.
that, yeah.
I'm sure some moms wouldn't.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping
know.
that it kind of picks up a little bit for getting, to Father's Day type of stuff. Which,
Right. Father's Day,
Oh.
and I would imagine like
Back to school.
seasonal
Back to
school.
sports like championships and stuff. You probably have way more sales than people selling.
NBA.
the bad thing, and this is a really bad finals.
Yeah, it's like low
like they're
markets.
lower market teams. There's
Aw.
no big
nobody predicted they were
interest.
gonna make it.
Yeah, like there's no star power on these teams. So that's also the bad part too when it comes to the
It's
NBA
like
stuff right
college
now.
basketball.
Yeah, it's
Like the players, the quality of players are just a bunch of role players.
I should just go up to random people and be like, "Can you name like 2 players on the Pacers, please?" Who?
Tyrese
who?
and Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark. Good enough. I'll take it.
Yeah,
You're like, you know what? Sure, well, that's close enough. We'll go with that.
So I think on the whatnot side, with it being more like entertainment type of stuff, I think it's because like people that still have their jobs, office jobs, and aren't taking vacations, you're just seen as like a regular scheduled program. So they're gonna be there. And so those sales were fine, but
so you haven't seen the drop of viewership.
No,
at all, right?
But the eBay side, I definitely saw some
Yeah.
lower days in there. So
Yeah, that is interesting, huh? You're saying eBay buyers take vacation.
yeah,
What not buyers? No,
they don't.
Well, in the spirit of predictability, though, is that something you recall seeing year over year? Like Mother's Day is slower for you, or have you just not noticed before?
I've definitely noticed when there's like different holidays coming around, either it's gonna help you or you're not gonna really see.
Yeah.
Like 4th of July, people spend so much money on fireworks.
Yeah.
That a lot of the times they're not buying extra stuff. It's crazy.
And-
I've seen people
and-
drop
That is
500,
crazy.
600 plus on fireworks.
Do
Easy.
you sell fireworks?
I don't, but I should.
No,
You
and
should.
and also too, like for example, like in fashion, right? Unless they're like that that prepares 2 weeks before for the July grilling, they're not gonna buy from us
Yeah.
before the event.
Yeah.
More likely they'd rather walk into a store and get it then
Just pick it up.
and rock
Yeah.
it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of like excludes us for like very specific. I know for a fact of Valentine's Day, like we dip big because it's flowers and it's dinners. So
Yeah.
we're competing against that.
It's kind of like people say how like during the holidays they see kind of like a decline somewhat of like pre-owned.
Yeah.
I guess compared to brand new, more than likely
Yeah.
you're gonna give a brand new item as a
Yeah.
gift compared to like a pre-owned.
Right. It's like probably those are gifts, right? Like
yeah, exactly.
all the new with tags.
So there's some different factors there, but yep, it's kind of like where I'm at right now. But I think you have a good topic for today. So
yeah, so let's get into that a little bit. So maybe we'll just go in order of sourcing and then selling. But what do you guys use the idea of like a sell-through rate for when you're sourcing? Like, how do you use that metric? Where do you find it? Do you care about it at all? What does it tell you? Like, how does it inform your decisions? Being a miscellaneous seller, I'll just go first really quick. I will sometimes look really at a ballpark idea of like, I want to know basically, okay, here's an item I just found, or actually lately this happens more often than not when I'm researching something that's in like an online bidding type of estate auction. So let's say I find this really cool like specific brand of a like bomber jacket from the 50s, and I'm like, oh cool, nobody else in my like rural area is going to care about this, but it might be a really cool actually vintage like leather fashion piece, right? So I'm going to go and try to research this jacket. Hopefully there's something exactly like it that's the same brand and the same color and everything for comps. But, I also kind of want to know in general, is like the aesthetic of this jacket something that is like selling through, right? So I might look at kind of keywords, obviously like leather bomber jacket, or maybe a certain era, a certain like style kind of word. And what I want to know when I'm looking through that relates to sell through is how many of these are currently listed, how many of these have sold, within the last 30 days, 90 days, and what's the average sale price, or what's the range of price of sale prices too, because sometimes it's like, oh, this one is from 1950 new with the tags so it's going to sell for a lot more than one that has like a rip in the arm or something, right? And so
yeah.
I want to look at like those factors. So I don't ever like calculate an actual sell-through rate, but I want to get an idea of like, is this something people are searching for even? Is this a popular type of item? Are, and have they sold for like a decent amount of money? Because that is directly going to impact, like maybe I am still willing to like wait a little while for it to sell if it's like a very specialized item, but that's definitely going to impact what's my highest bid going to be on this item. Like I'm not going to pay for it in an auction what I can sell it for, and that's it. Like that's just breaking even or losing money, right? So I need to know how many times can I make my money over, right? But also, like, is anyone even going to look for this, and kind of what's the right now heartbeat of like this item selling through? So that's what I'm looking at. But in other ways with my store, like when I want to evaluate the performance of my store, I do actually calculate a couple of different sell-through rates that are like an actual number that I'm like looking month over month, how is this number changing? But when it comes to sourcing, it's really more of a ballpark thing for me. So how does that work for you guys? Because we do source different kinds of items, and like I would imagine that for something that is new with tags with a model number or something like that, or like a certain team this exact version of something, it might be a little different.
Yeah, I think when I was sourcing like in store a lot more compared to now, I was definitely doing and pretty much what I had shown in the videos of like looking them up by style code, checking comps, seeing what's going on there, how many have sold, what do those price ranges look like. And now with the way that I'm sourcing, I really don't check comps. I think it just comes down, I guess because more bulk has been coming in, I think a lot of it comes down to like my buy cost and how many like per unit and things like that that are coming in. So that's definitely changed. And one of the funny thing is that like you could search up this item and there's like no solds, and then you can check how many are listed and there's none, and then you do list it and then it's gone right away because you're the only competition, or sometimes those items are like so unique that there is no one else selling it. So here you go, like you're the main
Right.
one and someone's actually looking for it. That's the only reason why there's no solds. So it is kind of interesting though, doing the research, like what kind of, I don't know, choice you make,
Yeah.
when you are sourcing out there.
Right. Because like as we've discussed many other times, like $1 that you spend on this thing is not available for you to spend on the next thing. So like it is important to have some kind of something that's informing your sourcing. Not that you have to like crunch numbers constantly to like make good sourcing decisions, but I do think sell through is really overlooked. I mean, I know for me, even looking at like a ballpark idea of sell through was not really something I took seriously until years into selling on eBay. And it definitely now makes me say no to a lot more stuff than I used to. And I'm glad because it's more focused that way. Still miscellaneous, but just more focused sourcing practices in general. What about you, Ken?
Yeah, I think I totally agree in what you said about the becoming a better buyer and sourcing when you start considering the sell through of your own store, because like most of us actually work with a limited capital, right? So if you put your money, I look at it as an investment, right? If you're putting your $10 on an item that's not gonna sell for 20 in a year,
Yeah,
what if you just put your $10 on something that you're gonna make $5, but you're gonna be able to do it 3 times this year?
right.
You know, I think that has to be I think when you're starting, right? Like, yes, we've always said explore a lot of categories, but over time you start getting a preference, or during even seasonality of it, right? Um, if you're into like retail arb, a lot of the winter are cheaper during summer, and a lot of summer stuff are cheaper during the winter. So if you only buy during summer, you're gonna be so loaded with winter stuff for cheap. And if you don't buy during winter, then the following year you're gonna have a bunch of goose eggs, because now
Yeah.
you're loaded with a lot of winter stuff during summer.
And then when
And
those hatch, you'll just have so many geese, you'll be overrun. Geese poop everywhere. You don't want that.
yeah,
Don't do it.
so I
Unless you
think
have too many cicadas, then maybe
yeah,
they could eat all the cicadas. Anyway, I'll just leave that right there.
that is the one thing that we are trying to look for now, especially with the how heavy you are on certain seasonality. Because besides the category, there is seasonality too, and one of the things that we've learned over time is you you cannot really be at 100% kind of like best store all year. I feel like you have to kind of like learn to like, okay, identify, like I said earlier, Q1 and Q4 is always the highest. So getting after Q1, you start to evaluate your store. Okay, uh let's use round numbers, right? I have 100,000 listed in my store. In the last 30 days, I sold 50,000, and you just in the peak of the season. So you're thinking like, man, like half of my inventory, I sold half of my inventory. Or let's just say during Q4, right? The whole quarter I sold half. You're really thinking that, man, like whatever my style was peak Q4. Now, can I replicate it again on Q4? More likely you can, because like that's kind of like your, like Glenn said, like brand new items, even shoes with box do way
Mm-hmm.
better than without box.
Yeah.
Um, and then, but the kicker here is when it's going to Q2 and Q3, what are you doing to kind of like alleviate that downtrend, or relax the contract and expand? And one of the things that we've tried this year is load up in a lot of summer wear.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be curious to see after Q3 if it was worth all the hassles listing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
Clothing, right?
Was it worth it, or do you just kind of accept the downtrend more and just double down on?
But one of the things that I'm for sure that's happening, that's really working well, is with clothing. At least probably the last year of sourcing we've done with clothing, our ROI is way higher compared to the sneakers that we've bought.
Interesting.
So that alone gives me the kind of like, because I mentioned this comment to Sneakers Envy one time, and I said, man, I should have gone harder on clothing. Because when you can buy a clothing for $5 and sell it for 25, and if you could consistently sell 10 to 20 every day, I'm like, you're cooking. You know, like that's a $15,000 month just on clothing. Yeah. And I'm not even a clothing seller really yet, but eventually, like, that's one thing. Because also too, what I mentioned earlier is like, we're working with limited capital. Yeah. It's so much easier to spend $5 than to spend $50 on one item.
Welcome to my world, Ken.
So that is or maybe
Glenn, you gotta smile louder when I say funny things. No, they can't hear you. No, I see you smiling.
I know, but Glenn's not totally agreeing, because the shoes that we have are actually the ones driving traffic to buy the shorts.
Yes. See, it's always very multifaceted.
You gotta have an eye candy. You gotta have an eye candy.
I was just lamenting about spending more than $5 on an item, which was really hard for me at first.
Yeah, that is so true. So
it's true, but not used to it.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like my take on that, and I do like Glenn's idea too with live selling, with entertainment. I don't think it matters as long as you know your average, sale ASP per show. The quote unquote the famous saying for the people that actually do their numbers, it would all even out.
It would all even out.
It would all even out. What do you mean all even out? I mean the profit or the losses?
I know. Am I doing all this to break even? Maybe.
You don't want to find that out.
No, because there were times me and Glenn would get on a call after our shows when we did live back to back. We'd be like, we're looking at each other, it's like, oh, it is bad. Like, there were like a show that I made $200 on. I sold 10,000 items, $10,000, and made $200. And then, what about you, man? I was like, oh, it's a terrible night. I was like, oh, let's do it again tomorrow.
Let's do it again.
Try again.
Yeah, and then you always say, it would all even out.
I think the hardest part about like the Whatnot side is just having like so many items and wondering like, if I listed all of these, how long would this take me one by one?
It would take forever.
And could I even get to that point? How many people would you even have to hire, to get to that? Because you can't do that alone. There's just no way. Like, this is like thousands of items.
Yeah.
And the sell-through rate, which we were talking about before, how would that look like compared to you're used to moving 200 hats every 2 to 3 days? That's not going to happen on eBay unless you have, man, how many listings would I need? At least.
See, now you're talking about your own sell-through rate.
I know. Now I'm talking about my own sell-through rate.
And you're going to have to crank it way up if you're just going by that percentage.
To get like 400 hats moving per week.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's do that.
Like, I mean, okay, how many?
Let's do an exercise for everybody that's listening. Go to your Seller Hub, click on your listings, and what are we gonna do? Like monthly? We're gonna do monthly, right? Let's do monthly, right?
Yeah, monthly.
So add your total. Let's do value, right? For everybody that's listening, add your total active listing.
Value.
Yeah.
Okay. Your total active value, right?
Okay.
So everybody do this. Get you a pen and paper, right? Okay, or pull up your calculator. How about a calculator? Okay.
I got my calculator out.
Live or recorded, right? I mean, add your last 30 days. right?
So active listing value plus your last 30 days.
Last 31 days, right? 31
of
days
solds or
of solds,
okay.
right? Equals that number, right? And then you divide that number with your last 31 days. That would be your sell through of your current inventory.
So divide that by 31?
Yeah, your last 31 days. So you're listed and your last night, add your listed and your last 31 day sold.
Total.
Divide by your last 31 days.
Does this make sense?
Value.
I don't know if this makes sense.
Does it make sense?
Oh, well, I don't know. Let me see what Ken's number is.
Okay. Let me do.
Okay, what kind of number are we supposed to have?
Percentage.
I think you said it backwards. I think it's
I don't have a percentage number.
No. It's the small number divided by the big number.
Oh yeah. Correct.
Oh, okay. So 31 divided by.
You probably did it opposite.
Yeah. I did the opposite. Okay. I did the opposite. Right. I said it. Yeah, and then you move the decimal place to.
Yeah. 2 spaces, and that's your mine is 4.2%, but the number that comes out of my calculator is 0.042.
Yeah.
Like
no.
that.
Yeah. There you go. I'm glad we got Anna here.
I got you. Well, to be honest, I calculate this every month, and I look at the value. I have one that's for value, and then one that's for item count. How many...
mine's 7.6%.
Nice.
That's low.
I'm still doing this right.
So Glenn, yeah. So what's your
okay? I'm just gonna tell you.
Tell me your number. What's your 31 days? What's your
my last 31 days is 19,331.
Okay. What's your active listing?
Active listing value is. It's loading. 108,300.
Okay.
You got it, Anna?
So, yeah. Hang on. So it's...
So total is...
I'm looking...
19.
Sorry, I took a screenshot so I didn't forget the other number. Okay, yeah.
Divided by...
So you're... Wow, dang, 15%.
Yeah, that's pretty
good. What?
Yeah. Get out of here.
So I wonder why I... So that's probably why I need to catch up on listing then.
Yes. Because you're selling everything out from under yourself.
It feels like I'm just kind of doing a little hamster wheel at times.
Yeah. That's what's happening. Yeah. Wait,
hey,
did
if
you
your
say
sell-through beats Glenn, let us know.
Right? 15%, right? That's what you got, right?
15%.
15.1, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is, I've always said, if you have a 10% sell-through, you turn your store around every 10 months.
Right.
So if you don't change anything, Glenn, you just replenish, you're gonna make your listed value your income every 10 months if you had a 10% sell-through. But since you
yours
have
would be more like 7 months.
Yeah,
it'd
Glenn
be a little bit less
months.
than 7 months.
Your total value will be your revenue every 7 months.
It's kind of funny though, because it kind of makes sense
Glenn
because
paid off his house.
No, I think it does make sense though, because my numbers have been the same the last 3 months. Nothing has changed though, because I only have been replenishing though. But the last time we talked, you're like, "We'll try to add 300 jerseys in the next." What did you say?
And you were like, "No, I will not."
Oh man. I'm like, I'll try.
Yeah.
But then I would see.
You would see it. It would increase. Usually, it increases after 30 to 90 days, because you got to go through the whole cycle again of your sell-through.
Yeah.
I would say I've always had a store that had a 10% turnover. Again, I'm at 7.6 because also I'm down 15% for the month.
Okay.
So also if you want to do the exercise too, you could do quarterly. So what we could do is quarterly is a lot more quote unquote stable
Okay.
because your
there's more
quarter,
room for it to average out.
yeah, there's, like the saying, it would all even out. So let's do our 90 days
right now.
Yeah, I just want to see like how it was because I think I still have like a good tail end, and Glenn's probably would be consistent if he does it. I'll be curious to see.
Maybe.
Okay, let's see.
All right, so we're adding 90 days plus current value. Okay.
Yep. And then you get that total.
And then it's going to be 31 divided by that total? Oh, no, 90.
You divide that total. You divide your 90 days with that total.
Okay. So 90 divided by this.
Yeah. Right. Your 90 day divided by this, yeah.
Little number over the big number, guys.
Yeah, to get the percentage. Yep, mine is 22.9%.
Is this right? This is what I get.
No. Your 90-day number. What's your 90-day number? You put that on the 90. Instead of putting 90, put your whole. What's your 90 days total?
58,032.
Yeah. So put it 58,000 divided by the big number. Yeah, it should look like this. Yep. So you're at 35%.
Okay. Over 90 days.
Over 90 days, right? So every 9 months, Glenn turns over his whole store. What was yours, Anna?
I didn't do mine.
Oh.
I was helping you guys.
Yeah, I need help.
Well, I will say
Anna's the smart one.
No. I track this in my spreadsheet.
You have a regular spreadsheet.
Yeah, I was going
to say. You do it monthly usually?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so so I can actually just look at it. Maybe I'll do that. The thing that I have noticed this year is that month over month it has steadily gone up, which is great. So mine, like for Q1, mine was more like, oh my gosh, like almost 10%.
Okay.
And this quarter it is almost 12%.
Yeah, so that is a good indicator, like thinking about sell-through of our own store. You just multiply it, but basically just get to 100, and that's how much you would make this year, right? Like, so if
that's how long it would take you to make that amount.
Yeah, that whole amount of listed value. If you're replenishing equal or better quality of items.
Yeah, that's the hardest part to do because you sell a $200 jersey and then you're replacing it with $30 shorts.
Yeah, that's not.
But if you're replacing it, if you're looking at listed value and you're replacing it with 6 or 7 pairs of $30 shorts,
then
then it's okay.
That's why the challenge is you have to list at least what you sold to keep the train going.
Yeah, value wise.
Yeah, value wise, you have to. And again, in the back of your head, think quality too, right? Because like a sell through on a jersey is not equal to a sell through on a hat.
Yeah, or shorts, even shorts,
Right? Yeah. So like that's where the mix of inventory comes into play. Yeah. And I wish eBay had that in a dashboard of your mix of category percentage. That would be interesting to see.
Of your sales or your listings?
Your listings. I think our sales show.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think the sales show on our performance. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we
So
have that anywhere. Or if
no,
we do,
so
I haven't looked at it.
so my sales by category right now currently athletic shoes 41%, um women's shoes athletic 19.6%. My clothing shorts is actually 6% only. And then some are listed as activewear shorts. So basically on my shorts I have 10%.
Yeah.
And then the rest are like really minor jackets, leggings and stuff like that. So you could look at your variety of what you've been selling. If you click your performance, go to sales and sales by category. So technically I'm still a men's athletic shoe seller because that's what the most I sell. Now if you do that with your inventory, it's like, wait, okay, so I'm selling
Does it
41%.
line up?
Does
Yeah.
it line up? Right? Because
Exactly.
like next thing you know, I have 80% shorts and 40% are shoes.
Yeah.
Now
The
you're
shorts
like,
aren't moving as
your
much.
shorts are moving. Your shorts
Right.
are trash.
I have to do this every once in a while, like when we register for any like eBay virtual
Oh yeah,
event
yeah,
and you have to
yeah,
choose what category you're
yeah,
in. That's always a hard question for me because it's either going to be something with apparel or something with collectibles, and they're both like going to be big umbrella
yeah.
categories like that. But I always have to look like which seller am I right now? Am I more like apparel or more collectibles? And it's interesting to look at that stuff every once in a while. But yeah, it would be nice to have more of a direct comparison to like
Right.
what do you have listed and what's been selling.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is yeah, because they tell us. But I think that was a good exercise for all of us and for everybody that's listening. So if you're in a situation like Glenn and you feel like you can't really bust out of the monthly sales that you're doing,
Because you're doing too well and you have
that's
the
You're doing
because your
too
highest
well.
sell through rate of
your
everyone else
sell-through's
you're
really
talking
good,
to at the moment.
right? Your sell-through's really good, and that's the same thing. Like, put it example, if you're live selling, I have experiences when I was live selling and whatnot. Your sell-through is close to 100%. So if you don't replenish, you don't make more
That's
money.
right.
Yeah.
You're
Because
done.
if you sell all your inventory,
If you
you're gonna
started at $1, you're definitely going
sell
100% sell through rate.
Yeah,
Only if you
exactly.
have people attending your show.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
still
even at
caveats.
$1,
There's
someone's
always
gonna bid
caveats.
at $1.
Oh, somebody, yeah, you're gonna lose money.
Yeah, you're gonna lose bad if
I
you
think
have 3 people watching and you started at $1.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna I'll keep buying $1.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm notorious for hopping in stores and live shows that only have less than 10 people, and I just buy everything.
It's funny when the seller's like, "I'm trusting you guys. Come on, if I run it at $1, guys,
You're
I'm
like,
trusting you.
don't
Don't do it, please don't."
And then I always have like max bid $10.
Oh my gosh.
Don't trust us.
No, I've had so many hats. That's why I have so many hats, because I used to go in Glenn's show all the time and I pick up everything under 13 because I put 13 max bid and it sells. Sells to Kenny. Sells to Kenny. So like I have so many hats. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
So that's his secret.
Yeah, all the break even of Glenn's went to me.
So okay, maybe instead of a summer surge or a summer slowdown, we're gonna have a summer sell through, guys.
Summer sell through.
Summer sell-through.
Like
Sell through. Yeah. Know your sell through. That's yeah. You know how you say know yourself? Know
Yes.
yourself through.
know your sell through.
Yeah. That's actually a good title, Anna. I saw you writing that down.
Not
go.
me typing the title as we're recording. It's fine.
Yeah. Know
I
yourself.
think it's
through.
funny that my category is 92% sportsman cards and fan shop. But football is the highest, 40%.
Yeah.
And it's not even in season.
Interesting insight
well,
there.
also that's because you probably have way more.
The most.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I wish eBay would compare it
That's
to
true.
your actual current inventory. I wish there was like a plus minus on the side, right? They put percentage of sales and a percentage of inventory, because it don't matter if you're selling a lot of football. What if you just have 1,000 jerseys of football and then you only have 100 basketball? So
True.
the variety, it's kind of like gonna be off. But I guess we can find that out if we just navigate through our own store, um, and type basketball, and it would show you on your active listings. It will show you the total value of what you're carrying.
Yeah, that would be dope.
But
I think we should still ask for a better, like easier way to compare those. 100% be super helpful.
Yeah. So eBay, if you're listening, we're gonna be on you. We're gonna be on you until.
And also, we appreciate you for sponsoring our show.
Thank you. Make sure you follow eBay for sellers, and also sign ups for eBay Open. The in-person event is open, and special announcement: Seller Club is gonna have a booth.
Yep.
In the, I don't even know what the place is
like
called.
The sponsor hall or
the
whatever.
Hall, yeah. Right? The hall where the.
Yeah, the Expo Hall.
It's gonna
be so fun, guys. We're gonna do a lot of really fun stuff at our booth. So please come see us.
Yeah, and also drop by. We might interview you on the podcast. We're gonna have a live podcast in there.
There you go.
We'll see.
So maybe even giveies.
Oh, we definitely have giveies. I'm trying to see if we can do giveies every like meal. Because everybody's gonna go there for breakfast, for lunch.
Yeah. I have a really fun idea for that, which I will not disclose on the air yet, but we'll talk about
not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also make sure you follow our other sponsor, Seller Ledger. Get your books right. Try their software. No credit card required. And with that, we will see you in the next episode. Peace.
See ya.
Bye.